very similar to earlier elections, but from there on it took off. And as you've heard several times over this weekend, we have an undoubted high of almost 250,000 iVotes.
Veel numbreid. Saame siis ID-kaardi või digiteed või mobiiliteed raha hääletada ja mobiilitee on näidanud viimased 3 valimist väga jõudsat kasvu, nii et meil on peaaegu 30% juba hääletatakse mobiilitee abil.
As you know, there's 3 separate ways of identifying yourself and then also signing your vote. ID card, the actual pin and chip solution in these elections was 69.2% of the votes, but the share of mobile ID has grown steadily and quite strongly, reaching 29.3% of iVotes compared to 23 and 12% in the previous elections. Digital ID, which is a new platform, is at less than 2%, 1.6% to be exact. And the digital ID is the mobile app-based...
No.
Sorry, it's the secondary chip or the secondary token of your ID card. Thank you for that. Thank you.
On ka rekord nagu selles osas, palju välismaalt hääletati, selgelt on siin tegemist koolivaheaja fenomeniga.
It's also a new high in how many people voted from overseas at 6.27%, and that probably is the phenomena also known as the school holidays.
Teatavasti saab elektroonilisel hääletusel hääletada mitu korda, aga inimesi, kes seda teevad tegelikult, on väga vähe. Antud valimistele oli seda 704 inimest, enamus nendest hääletas ainult 2 korda, üle 600 midagi. Nii et neid inimesi on vähe.
As you know, repetitive voting is possible in iVoting, where the later vote overrides the earlier vote. Traditionally, it's been a low number. In these elections, 704, which is 0.28%. Slightly over 0.25% of those iVoting voted repetitively, and the great majority of those voted twice.
Mobiiltelefoniga nutiseadmega saab siis häält kontrollida. See number on üsna tavapärane, natukene kõrgem. Selleks, et suuremahulisi rünnakuid avastada, piisab meile tegelikult 2%. Nii et me oleme väga õnnelikud niisuguse kontrollijate arvu üle.
As you know, we can also verify our iVote after having voted using a secondary smart device and a QR code. And more than 5%, 5.29% of iVoters chose to do so. That number has been steadily growing, and we believe that this is confidently enough to discover a large-scale attacks had there been any. The verification quota, so to say, is at 2% to discover large-scale irregularities.
Me saavutasime 200 hääle minutis kiiruse ühel hetkel. See ei olnud küll viimasel minutil, aga oli viimase tunni sees.
At the highest amount of votes cast per minute is 200 votes per minute. It's not quite on the last minute, but it is within the last hour. So at 17:26 on Wednesday, a little over half an hour before iVoting ended, we saw 200 votes per minute.
Ja lõpetuseks meil oli ka ööpäevaringne klienditugi, kes siis sai 500 pöördumist, kirjalikku pöördumist ja natuke alla 1000 telefonikõne, mis on enam-vähem normaalne.
And we also provided 24/7 help desk during the period. That got a little over 511 email requests and 891 phone calls. And with that, we'll happily take any of your questions, either of us, until the tallying is going on. Okay. And if you, when asking questions, please introduce yourself, and there's a microphone that's traveling around.
So my name is Robert Krimmer. I have one question. You mentioned before that 704 voters made a second vote. But I mean, if I saw correctly before, it was 6,500 votes that you cleansed before. So are there any voters that repeated their vote more than twice?
Yes, that's correct. There were 100 something persons who voted just twice. But there are persons who voted like 50 times. Easily. So, yeah, they generated this. Obviously, the people involved in the system, they're testing out the stuff, so they're giving a lot of votes, me included.
Küsimus oli selles, et kui tühistati, professor Robert Krimmer pani tähele, et tühistati mõned tuhanded, 6000 umbes topelthäält, aga oli ainult 700 topelthääletajat, siis kas keegi klikkis palju kordi. Ja vastus on see, et üle 600 inimese sellest 741 hääletas 2 korda, aga mõned inimesed hääletasid palju kordi, kaasa arvatud valimiste korraldajad süsteemi testimiseks ja eriti nende hulgas e-hääletamise juht ise. Are there any other questions? Go on.
This is Petteri Jäijö from Finland. I would like to ask that what if something goes wrong during this counting process, the computer crashes or the results DVDs are both physically damaged? Can you just simply start the tallying procedure again from the step 1 or what's the...
Yes.
Thank you, very simple.
Kiireks tõlkeks küsimus oli, et mis juhtub, kui midagi läheb selles etapis valesti? Ehk kas lähevad mõlemad DVD-d kaotsi või juhtub midagi selle arvutiga, kas me saame alustada lugemise algusest uuesti, vastus on jah. Any other questions? This is a very Estonian audience. It's too early since the polls will be closing in a little over half an hour. It's too early to make conclusions about the turnout, but we might have reached a point where I-voting and voting on paper are on equal standing. Almost 40% of voters voted in the early voting period, majority of those I-voted, and it looks like the turnout is around 60%, but as I said, the peak of the last hour is happening as we speak. I was asked, oh, there is a question.
Matt Buddha, representing Generali maybe. I have this question. Was there any specific technical problems for voters casting their vote with client application? Some specific configurations or some other problems or vote checking problems maybe?
Yeah, there were 3 kinds of what we can group as a specific problems. They're pretty usual. We had 3 kind of groups of problems. One was that the antiviruses detected the voter application as a suspicious element. Well, we were in good contact with our antivirus producers, so we fixed that pretty much in the first day of voting. So this problem disappeared. Then there was a packaging error for one older Mac version. That was a group problem. And the perhaps most outstanding problem, which is hard to explain, but we still don't know which kind of configurations were affected to that, but it was about giving specific error after entering PIN 2. We found the word the way over it and released the second voting application, which was not published because of the fear of the antivirus again. So there were tens, I would say, perhaps even 100, not sure, not less than 100 people who had the same problem, and they got the immediate help from the client service, so they became happy.
Märt Põderi küsimus oli, kas oli konkreetseid probleeme, mis laiemalt esinesid. Ja välja saab tuua 3 gruppi. Esiteks see, et esimesel e-hääletuse päeval antiviirustarkvara reageeris hääletaja rakendusele, aga kontaktis tarkvara omanike, müüjate ja arendajatega see lahenes esimese päeva jooksul. Teiseks, ühes konkreetses vanema Maci seadistuses oli paketeerimisega ja kolmandaks väga konkreetses seadistuses esines veakood, mille jaoks tehti kiiresti ka uus versioon tarkvarast või uuendatud versioon tarkvarast, mis anti neile, kes selle probleemiga pöördusid kasutajatoe poole. Any other questions? At the back. Adrian.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I'm from Universitat Rovira i Virgili in Tarragona. I know that since 2017 you are using a verifiable mixnet. Could you please tell us which are the procedures to verify or audit the zero knowledge proof generated by the mixnet, please?
That would be a long answer. So basically what we do today here is preliminary counting. When no individual cryptograms are stored or anywhere, just summarized output. We do this counting tomorrow again. First we will mix those votes, it's cryptographic mixing. Why is that good? It's too long to explain. But there will be second counting, and this second counting allows us to prove that all the procedures were mathematically correct. So the current system basically provides this kind of end-to-end security, verifiability, meaning that from the collected votes to the tally, all the steps were performed correctly. And that's what auditors will verify tomorrow.
Küsimus oli hääletustulemuste krüptograafilise või matemaatilise tõestuse kohta. Ja see on see töö, mida teevad audiitorid homme. Ehk homme toimub teine lugemine, millega kinnitatakse, et täna nähtud tulemused on ka krüptograafiliselt ja matemaatiliselt tõesed. Kõik sammud tehti korrapäraselt ja see on siis see homne miksimine. Any more questions? We're ready to shoot. Excellent timing from the audience.
No, minul on küsimus. Kas te järgisite ka neid mingeid muid teist sõltumata tõrkeid? Näiteks kuuldavast viimasel valimispäeval oli muu saarel oli ulatuslik elektrikatkestus või midagi taolist?
Alates 2017 valimistel olin mina Riigi Infosüsteemi Ameti esindajana selle koostöö läbirääkija, siis ma vastan sellele äkki ise. Riigi Infosüsteemi Amet ja eriti nende intsidendi haldusosakond ehk CERT.ee on olnud valimiste turvamisel just reaalajas e-hääletuse ajal tugev partner. Nende turvata on ka ülejäänud riigi kriitilistes võrkudes toimub, riigivõrgus toimub. Ja nende esialgne hinnang oli, et ei ole olnud hääletamist mõjuvaid intsidente. The question was about real-time monitoring of the events and whether there were any large-scale attacks. And CERT.ee part of the Estonian Information System Authority, was responsible for that element, and their preliminary report early in the week was that there were no irregularities that would have affected iVoting. And with that, we're ready to move on to the next step.
Me läheme nüüd protseduurid edasi ja hääletused kokku loetud. Me nüüd vaatame visuaalselt, kas midagi läks halvasti, kas kõik tundub õige. Kõigepealt me vaatame kehtetute häälte faili, see on õnneks tühi see aasta.
Now that we have tallied the votes, we'll make sure that nothing went wrong. First, the file of invalid votes is checked, and that was empty. There were no invalid votes cast in iVoting.
Teiseks me ei vaata tulemuste faili füüsiliselt sisse, aga meil on tehtud üks väga lihtne niisugune veebipõhine skript, mis uurib seda tulemuste faili ja sai valmis sellega. Ta on lihtsalt, näha ei ole midagi. Aga ta ütleb, et kõik fail on korrektne ja on siis 47 041 häält. Seal tulemuste failis on nii jaoskonna kaupa kõik hääled kui ka ringkondade kaupa.
Without opening the tallying of the results file, the iVoting organizer now ran a script on it to again make sure that the file itself is all right. In that verification process, you could see that 247,041 votes were counted or tallied, and that the results are approved both by polling station and district.
Hääletamistulemused, see fail väljastatakse koos signatuuriga või allkirjaga signatuuriga, mille suudavad teha ainult need samad võtmeosakutega kaardid. Mis tähendab seda, et seda faili võib rahulikult nüüd koos oma signatuuriga tõsta edasi-tagasi, kuidas iganes, kas või mälupulga peal, kuna ta terviklus ja autentsus on kaitstud. Nüüd me kontrollime seda allkirja signatuuri.
So the file that was created is signed with the same key shares that were used in decrypting, which means that the integrity and authenticity of the file is protected by those signatures, and we can move it quite robustly when needed between the computing systems. It's a really long line on the command line interface.
See on meile piisav kindluse kirjutada tulemused DVD-le.
And this is enough of an assurance to then copy the results on a DVD.
meil see tegevus õnnestub, seega võiks hakata kiipkaarte uuesti turvalt kleebistama. Palun.
Assuming the burning of the DVD is successful, we can start to put the security seals back on the key share. So that's, again, the auditors and the Commission. Whilst the sealing is happening, several of you actually asked me earlier today about the interaction between paper and antud. And the way it's set up is that you can, in an early voting period, so in the pre-voting period, you can vote on paper and I vote. And your paper vote will revoke your I vote. However, if you're marked as an early voter in the electoral roll that's used today, you cannot vote again today regardless of whether you early voted using I-voting or you early voted on a ballot using the double envelope scheme. So just I know there's, that's, you get to vote on paper if you I-voted, but only during the early voting period, not today.